For KBRFradio.com News, I'm Derek Sidian, and this is the weekly news recap, brought to you by Fergus Falls Monument, online at foreverstonmemorials.com, memorials that matter, and Lilligards, your local Mahindra dealer on Highway 13 West, Wahpeton. The identity of the victim of a deadly semi-crash in rural Fergus Falls has been released. The Minnesota State Patrol responded to the accident near mile marker 33 on State Highway 210 near Wall Lake at around 9:19 Thursday morning. According to officials, 18-year-old Cadence Hartman of Battle Lake was heading west on 210 when his car collided head-on with an eastbound semi. Hartman died at the scene while the semi driver, 63-year-old David Marsh of Staples, was transported to Lake Region Healthcare for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say that road conditions were wet at the time. Hartman was a student at M State in Fergus Falls and recently performed in the theater department's fall musical Zombie Prom. The crash is still under investigation. A woman from rural Dent was left with a possible back injury following a snowmobile accident Saturday morning. The Otter County Sheriff's Department received a report at around 10:51 stating that a woman, later identified as 32-year-old Irina Hopp, was involved in a snowmobile accident near 355th Avenue in Dent. According to officials, Hopp and a juvenile male passenger were riding the snowmobile when the throttle stuck, causing the vehicle to accelerate and strike a tree. Hopp had severe back pain and was transported to Perham Hospital for treatment. The juvenile passenger also received minor injuries. A woman from Breckenridge was injured in a car versus deer crash in Fergus Falls Monday evening. According to the Fergus Falls Police Department, a report of a crash was received from a car radio at around 5:02. Officials say that 61-year-old Joyce Walter was traveling west on East Fir Avenue near East Hills Drive when her vehicle collided with the deer. Walter was transported to Lake Region Healthcare for treatment of minor injuries. The windshield and front end of the vehicle were damaged in the accident. A head-on collision in Pelican Rapids Thursday night has left 2 residents injured. The Minnesota State Patrol responded to the scene at around 6:14 Thursday evening. According to officials, a Toyota RAV4 driven by 28-year-old Mercedes de Los Angeles Morales Mondragon was traveling north on Highway 59, and a Honda Civic driven by 55-year-old Stephen Andrew Kiefer was traveling south on the highway when they collided near mile marker 244. Kiefer suffered life-threatening injuries and was transported to Sanford Hospital for treatment. Morales Mondragon was transported to Essentia Health St. Mary's for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. A man from Dalton was arrested earlier this week and accused of holding a woman against her will while in possession of a firearm. According to the Otter County Sheriff's Department, a report was received via text message at around 7:21 Monday evening, saying that a man with a gun was holding a woman against her will in Dalton. Ottertail deputies and other law enforcement responded to the scene. Law enforcement entered the residence, at which point the male, identified as 42-year-old Ryan Hamilton, was taken into custody without incident. The woman was not harmed during the incident. Hamilton is being charged with second-degree assault and domestic assault with a firearm. At around 9:06 Wednesday morning, over 2,200 homes and businesses lost power throughout Fergus Falls. Ottertail Power Company quickly dispatched a crew to fix the issue, and repairs were completed around 10 o'clock. The map here shows the areas that were without power, as far north as West Beach Avenue down to Madison Avenue in the south, and from the east side of town on North Cascade Street over to South Tower Road on the west side. The outage was caused by an accident involving a contractor working in the area. Otter Cove is hosting a kickoff party for the 5th annual Festival of Lights tonight from 5 to 7. There will be hot chocolate, music, and free photos by Sammy Joe Photos at the event to celebrate. Layton Media is presenting this year's Festival of Lights and will be broadcasting live from the kickoff party on all 4 of their radio stations. The Festival of Lights has become a major holiday event in Fergus Falls, with thousands of cars driving through each year to see the light displays put up by Fergus Falls businesses and organizations. This year's Festival of Lights will run through December 14th at the Kirkbride, with the displays lit up from 5 to 9 each evening. The M State Fine Arts Department will be bringing in the holiday season with a winter concert at 2 o'clock this Sunday afternoon in Legacy Hall. Showcasing the talent of M State's choirs and concert band, The performance will feature the music of Mannheim Steamroller and a sing-along of Handel's famous Hallelujah Chorus. Ticket sales will reopen at 1 o'clock at Legacy Hall on the day of the concert. Seating is first come, first served. Local state legislators are blaming Democrats after a future budget projection reveals a $5 billion deficit through the 2028-29 biennium. On Wednesday, Minnesota Management and Budget released its annual November budget forecast, providing information and an outlook for the state's financial picture. The latest forecast shows a $616 million surplus at the end of 2026 and a massive $5.1 billion deficit by the 2029. The forecast numbers do not account for any new spending, meaning that new spending bills passed in the next legislative session will further increase the deficit down the line. Senator Jordan Rasmussen of Fergus Falls said, quote, "Under one-party control, Democrats have raised taxes by $10 billion and increased our state budget to unprecedented and unsustainable levels. This fiscal mismanagement has put Minnesota on a course toward future budget shortfalls exceeding $5 billion. Minnesotans deserve better from their government, and we cannot afford to continue along this path of reckless spending," end quote. State Representative Jeff Backer of Browns Valley said this projection underscores the need for balance. Quote, "Today's news makes clear that a course correction is needed ASAP to put Minnesota's fiscal and economic outlook back on the right track," end quote. Democratic Governor Tim Walz responds, "The state has a balanced budget right now, and there's time to fix the problem." In the past decade, Minnesota's government budget has nearly doubled from a $39 billion general fund budget in 2014 to $71 billion in 2024. This has been the Weekly News Recap, brought to you by Fergus Falls Monument, online at foreverstonmemorials.com, memorials that matter, and Lilligards, your local Mahindra dealer on Highway 13 West, Wahpeton. For KBRFradio.com News, I'm Derek Sidian. Tune in every Friday at 12:30 on KBRFradio.com or on the Fergus Now app to stay up to date with local news. Get more news at KBRFradio.com. Sign up for email news sent right to your inbox, delivered by Cooper's Office Supply.